Well, let's talk a little bit about Ronda Rousey, because I have to say in the last 5 days or so, we've received more questions about Ronda Rousey than maybe any other topic that's ever come in a short period of time. How closely have you followed the recent outcry about Ronda Rousey's statements on pro wrestling?
Well, just over the last day, I've seen this shit on Twitter and people talking about it, and then obviously read what she said. They had a transcript.
Well, did you see the first thing? What started everything kind of going?
Well, I don't know. What started everything? What's causing all this?
She apparently was on the podcast that former MTV Jackass star Steve-O has.
Well, yeah, that's where she said, I had fun going out and playing, having fake fights with my friends, having fake fights with girls. That was fun, right? That was the first thing.
Well, what she said, here's a quote.
All right.
What am I doing it for if I'm not being able to spend my time and energy on my family, but instead spending my time and energy on a bunch of fucking ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me?
Well, I was getting there, but wasn't the fake fights before that?
No, I think that was after this.
Oh, all right then.
I love performing. I love the girls. I love being out there. But at the end of the day, I was just like, fuck these fans, dude. I love the WWE. I had such a great time. I love all the girls in the locker room. Running out there and having fake fights for fun is just the best thing.
Okay, yeah. Fuck you. All right, go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
But I was doing basically part-time, and I was away from home 200 days out of the year. And when I did get home, I was so sleep-deprived because you just don't have time to lay down. My family loves me, and they appreciate me, and they want all my energy to go into them. So that was my decision at the end of the day. It's like, hey, girls, love what you're doing. I'm going to try and take all my momentum and push you guys as far as I can. Fly, little birds. Fly. I'm going fucking home. So this is what kind of triggered everything at the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going with all of that. That's the first part that I saw, and then a bunch of people. But the point is, this fucking douchebag. Okay, and by the way, remind me never to compliment anybody. You see what happens whenever I compliment somebody? Then invariably they do or say something really stupid. Remember, I liked Mance Warner until he worked with the Invisible Man.
And you were very complimentary about Ronda Rousey. She had that debut at WrestleMania, maybe the greatest debut anyone's ever had.
Yes.
On a big stage, yeah.
Yes. But apparently now she thinks that she did it, I guess, that now that she came with her stardom and her knowledge and her fucking momentum and pushed all the girls to stardom or whatever. Here's the thing, darling. Let me smarten you up to the wrestling business because apparently nobody else has. You fucking ungrateful twat. You were a star in your world, and that world closely translates to professional wrestling. It always has. Boxing and now mixed martial arts and fighting and wrestling. You can become a box office attraction in wrestling if you've been good in another sport, and as Brock Lesnar showed, vice versa. Here's the problem, though. You didn't do it by yourself. Triple H laid that fucking match out specifically because he wanted you to get over. Kurt Angle was her partner, right? Not only one of the quickest learners in the history of fucking wrestling, but also a fucking guy who was farther above Ronda Rousey in the shoot fighting world than she achieved in hers, to be quite honest. An Olympic gold medalist is about as far as you can fucking get. And Ronda Rousey performed her part admirably. And she did have a good persona, and I loved the game face when she walked out and did her deal, and she treated the business seriously when she was in the fucking ring. But apparently now, and I should have known something was wrong when she's the one that had the nervous breakdown twice when she lost 2 fucking MMA fights, right? Broke down crying and basically quit the business there because she lost twice. So she's a mental case. But now we found out, it was just so hard. It was just so hard. I was on the road 200 nights a year, making 7 figures. I don't know exactly what her contract was, what her pay was for the fucking year. It's been reported at $1.5 million someplace. But the point is, I know the WWE, if anybody thinks Ronda Rousey didn't make over $1 million, you're fucking insane. And 200 days a year, my fucking asshole bleeds for you, darling. My asshole bleeds for you. Try working 100 days in a row for Bill Watts for $2,000 a week instead of what's 200 grand a fucking month or whatever the fuck your pay works out to. And driving up and down the roads in fucking Louisiana. You've insulted every single person that ever got into wrestling business that didn't come in given a 6-figure contract by the WWF and their fucking efforts and diminished that. You whine and you gripe and your pussy needs powdered because you were on the road 200 days a year. Meh. You have no more respect and you gained no more respect for the business than to come out and now that you're done with it, obviously, calling it fake fights and playing with your friends. You were just enjoying yourself for a couple $1 million a year or whatever, while Vince flew you around the fucking country and pampered you. Everybody who will say, well, I take up for her, she was fighting for real. Okay, yeah, she fought for real. And due to the fact that she beat everybody so quickly, 1 minute at a time, every several months or whatever. But I don't remember Danny Hodge or Jack Briscoe or fucking any of the noted shooters that have crossed over and had successful wrestling careers also calling it fake fights to the people. They never called it fake fights to the boys. It's not a term that any of them used because they had respect for what they were doing and the people that were helping them do it. So I don't know why does she think the fans are so ungrateful? Why? What?
Well, I think the fans towards the end of her run may have not been reacting the way that she had wanted them to.
Was she still making the same amount of money?
She was certainly making, as a downside guarantee, the same amount of money, yes.
What is she did they turn her heel or did she turn herself heel? Because remember, every time she gets in a situation where people like her, she was a babyface in MMA and then she mouthed off about them and turned heel there too, didn't she?
That is a way of explaining what happened to her in MMA, yeah.
Once she quit the business, she started mouthing off about the people and the whole experience.
And a lot of the girls that fought her, that lost in those short matches, I remember Misha Tate, it seemed that it wasn't just, I lost to a better person, it was, I lost to someone I really don't like. It seemed like there was a lot of animosity between her and every single girl she fought.
Well, now we apparently are figuring out why. So anyway, fuck you and your fucking fake fights and you're playing with your friends, you pampered, overpaid fucking douchebag. And I sincerely hope that your family supports you because if you ever do, and I'm sure Vince would take her back because he'll take any fucking cunt back, male or female, that fucking puts the mouth on him, as Dennis Corluzzo would say. But I hope your family supports you because the only popularity contest that you're going to be winning from now on for the rest of your life, you dumb fucking twat, is contests that only your immediate family votes in because the wrestling fans now are going to treat you like the fucking virus. After those comments, you fucking pampered twat.
We have a response from Ronda Rousey.
Oh, what? Okay, already? Is this live?
I guess she somewhat anticipated what she would hear from you, but she'd been hearing it from other people.
I did tweet basically the same thing today. Maybe she saw that. I don't know.
This is directed, I guess, at everyone using the hashtag on Twitter, #KayfabeKiller. Anyone who was outraged by me calling pro wrestling fake fights for fun has never been in a real fight. While you all are tiptoeing around bruising some pro wrestlers' huge soft egos, no one is thinking about all the real fighters you're insulting when pretending pro wrestling is somehow on the same level of realism. Yes, I understand. Wrestling 300 days a year for years on end is incredibly tough on the body and a difficult profession. But do you know what would happen if you got into 300 real fights in a year? You would be dead.
That's apparently exactly the same thing that she's going to be after, if she ever gets back in a fucking ring again with any of these girls that have any goddamn pride and self-respect. Oops, you moved. That's what I sincerely hope she doesn't ever plan to do this ever again. Because some girl somewhere is going to have more fucking self-respect for themselves, for the business, and just whatever the fuck, than, even if she makes it look like a real good fucking, oh golly, potato, Ronda Rousey's going to get her shit fucking kicked in.
Well, on that topic, funny enough, Nia Jax has recently been, I guess, taking on the role as a leader with the women in the WWE. And there's a couple of things here I've noticed, and they relate to this, so let's play this. This is some short audio, Jim. I guess because everyone is home and they have downtime, many of the WWE women's wrestlers got on, I think this may be Twitch. I'm not exactly sure, but there's a video stream with several of their faces just sitting at home on their couches, having girl talk. Here's Nia Jax. This came out right around the same time of this Ronda Rousey thing, and people were able to figure out that they think she was talking about Ronda Rousey based on the timing of the story, the timing of the story takes place, and the person she's talking about, which is Alexa Bliss. Let me play this for you, get your thoughts on this, and then we have a few more things about this.
That, like, well, speaking of Natty saying a backbone, I remember back when, I'm not going to mention any names, but Lexi, well, other than Lexi's name, she's not on right now. Other than Lexi's name. But when Lexi was in, she was working at an angle, and she was continuously getting hurt in a certain angle with somebody. And I remember her not saying anything, specifically because she wanted to be a team player. Like, she was so nervous. She wanted to be a team player. She didn't want to be somebody who, like, oh, I can't do this. But me personally, from the outside looking in, I was so angry. I was like, no, I was like, she cannot do this anymore. I personally would not allow her to get back in the ring to get hurt again. Yeah. I had to go to the people, to the higher ups, and I had to put down, a stern foot and said, listen, like, Lexi is 5'0", 100 pounds, getting thrown around like a little rag doll and injured every night. I was like, put me in. I'm a 6 foot, 300 pound bitch. You can handle it. Like, but so I understand, like, there's a certain thing of, like, being quiet and taking it and being like, no, I want to be a team player. And then there's another side where it's like, shit, dude, I can't allow to see one of my good friends, not only my good friends, but my coworker, who I want to be here in 5 years so I can continue to work her.
Right.
Like, getting hurt. Like, I need to stand up and freaking be there for her and make sure that, she's going to be, like, her livelihood's going to be okay when she's done here.
Well, there it is, Nia Jax, and people on the internet sleuths have figured out that she was referring Sleuths have figured out that she was talking about Ronda Rousey apparently injuring Alexa Bliss while working with her.
Well, I'll tell you, Nia Jax would be a match I'd like to see with Miss Rousey.
Well, Nia Jax went on Twitter.
Oh, okay, there's more.
I can't wait for Ronda to one day return to WWE. Even if WWE orders me to make Ronda look good in the ring, which is the only way for Ronda to look good in the ring with me, I'll risk my job to go down in history as the one from this biz that knocked her the fuck out. Hashtag test me, bitch.
Now, Nia Jax is related, is she not, to the Samoan family?
I believe, and
I'm
likely wrong with this. I think she may be a cousin to The Rock.
Well, if she's somehow Samoan, Ronda Rousey's fucked. Well, it ain't going to happen. If she wouldn't have said that shit if she ever thought she would do this again. So she just needs to go back home to her farm and fucking. Possibly she's one of those people that
plow the fields and farm.
Plow the fields and farm and herd. Yeah. Fuck. You know what? Are we finished with this, by the way?
when you hear that from Ronda Rousey, when you hear from that Nia Jax, that clip of her talking about stepping up for Alexa Bliss, what do you think of that, about that aspect of it?
Well, I can see why they didn't want to put Ronda Rousey in with Nia Jax, because they were trying to get Rousey over, and she would not be able to do all of her shit and throw Nia Jax around like a rag doll and etc. But why? I've seen that Alexa Bliss, and she's a gorgeous girl, but she is 5'0" and doesn't weigh 100 pounds or whatever the fuck. And why? And she looks the furthest thing from physically intimidating. So why that they put her in with Ronda Rousey, I have no fucking idea, because they should have known. Jesus Christ, a little lady like that cannot be fucking thrown around. She's obviously, Alexa Bliss, I don't think has ever fought in a cage. I don't think she's been in any contact sports. She might have been a cheerleader, whatever the fuck. I would have picked one of the larger, more physically equipped ladies to work with Ronda Rousey, especially if she was that fucking dangerous.
Well, I guess to put a bow on this, I've noticed that there's another tweet from Ronda Rousey. This is from 14 hours ago. Good night, #rowdy ones and jabroni marks without a life that don't know it'll work when you work a work and work yourself into a shoot, marks. And with that, there's a video of 5 seconds in length of her beating up a Hulk Hogan Wrestling Buddies doll.
Yeah, I think is the one that I saw that on Twitter, and I tweeted back to her, but I don't know whether she sees it, and I don't care. But having another one of her fake matches, and obviously drunk at the time, to shoot to mark, and I love when people get into business just long enough to fucking learn a couple of words, and then they don't even know what the words. It's sort of like shit stain. They don't know what the words mean, but they start using them.